All right, guys, so today we got the Next Level Racing Wheel Stand 2.0. And I'm sure you've heard of Next Level Racing. They make excellent gear for sim racing. So on the 2.0, we got some pretty interesting features, which one of them here is a folding design, which is pretty cool if you need the extra space. Also includes the chair cradle, which is this piece here that holds your chair in when you're ready to play. So you can use your own chair, like a gaming chair or an office chair. And also we got shifter and handbrake support. And that's the picture here. So this is a sequential shifter with a handbrake next to it. So yeah, it has room to mount both of those. So here you can see a little better where the shifter mounts and the handbrake. And below that, we can see the cradle for the gaming chair. And then also when you're ready, you can actually upgrade the 2.0 here, which is this part, to include the full cockpit with the chair and the frame here. So it just connects straight to it. And I really like that because you're not forced to buy the whole system again when you are ready to upgrade. And obviously you do have a lot of adjustability and also compatibility with major brands like Logitech, Thrustmaster, and Fanatec. And this is what the box looks like. It's not too big. It's got the same pictures all around, and it weighs about 50 pounds. So I definitely like the manageable weight and size. So for the next part, we're gonna unbox it and build it step by step. If you're not interested in that, I'm gonna have a timestamp where you can skip this and go to the part where it's built. All right, so let's open this thing up. So we have reviewed a few Next Level stands in the past, and they've been all pretty great. So we're pretty excited to see what the 2.0 here is all about. All right, so you guys can see that it's nicely bubble wrapped in there. So we're gonna go ahead, see if we can slide it out of there. All right, well that wasn't too bad. It looks like we got a few pieces. We got a box and then we got part of the frame here. All right, so this part looks like the piece that folds. Pretty cool. And there are some zip ties here. Let's go ahead and cut them. All right, so I'm gonna move this out of the way for now. All right, let's see what's in this box. So we got quite a few things. Right on top, we have the manual. It looks like inside the manual, we have a couple Next Level Racing stickers. Here they show you what's in the box. And then we got all these steps to build this thing out. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard, but there are, looks like to be about 22 steps. So yeah, quite a bit of steps here. So, but I love how they use pictures, so it's all very logical. So in the box, we have a lot of parts. The metal parts are all individually wrapped and protected. There's a baggie of hardware and some wrenches. So yeah, it looks like just a bunch of parts. I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap them all and lay them out, and then we'll start building it step by step. All right, so we moved down to the floor so we can easily build this thing. And we are in my garage, and you guys can see we got an Arosi gaming chair there and our monitor, which is also mounted to a Next Level Racing stand. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to build this thing and start using it. So you guys can see we have quite a few pieces, but it's actually not as many as I thought it would be. So I don't think it's gonna be too hard to put together. So let's go ahead and open our manual to number 1 here. And it looks like all we gotta do is unfold this piece here. And then we're gonna install a knob, looks like on the front, on the bottom part. So here we have all our hardware all in one place. Here's our knob, so let's go ahead and grab one. There's quite a few in there, but I think we only need one for this. But yeah, they look pretty nice, and they actually have the Next Level Racing branding on them. All right, so yeah, looks like we just need to unfold it. Okay, so this is the bottom here, we can see. And then this piece here lays over onto there. Gotta carefully pick it up here. So yeah, we're just gonna spread it enough where it lines up right here, and then put our twisty knob on there. And that's how we lock it in. And it does look like this is how you fold it away. 2 knobs on each side here that you lock in or unlock to fold it back in. All right, for step 3, we're gonna need the main pedal plate, 2 pedal brackets, 2 8x16mm bolts, and 2 washers. And for step 4, we're just installing the bolts for the adjustment. All right, so here we have the plate, and this is the top part. We're gonna need 2 of these brackets, and they are also branded very nice. So they simply go just like that, and you guys can see there's a mounting point there and here. And so the back one will line up there, and then our adjustment one on this side. So this bag here has all our bolts. There's shorter and longer ones. We're gonna need 4 short ones, and there's only 2 types, so you're not gonna mix them up. So then we also need 4 washers, and they're gonna be with the nuts. So we're gonna grab a bolt, put a washer through it. We'll start here on the back. We're gonna tighten that up. And you guys can see here, we can adjust how much tilt the pedals have. So let's go about halfway or so for now. Grab another bolt and washer. So I'm just gonna count the holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's the middle. Yeah, looks like it. And obviously I can take this out later and adjust it. But for now, we'll just do that. Grab the provided Allen wrench and tighten them up. So yeah, simple as that. Now we'll just do the other side exactly the same way. And that's it. We are done with this step. So for step 5, we're gonna grab what we just built and put it into our main frame, and then we're gonna lock it in with the 4 knobs. So yeah guys, this is not complicated at all so far, very simple. And maybe you guys can see the holes here, and that's how you're gonna adjust it, by sliding it back and forth. So for now I'm gonna go about here. So you can go as far back as that, or all the way, you know, to the front. So very nice to see that it's all very adjustable. Grab 4 knobs, and there's gonna be 2 that go through this slot here. And you can just adjust them as you need it. So if you need to go forward, you'll remove this one and go that way. So yeah, going to the other side, same thing. All right, well that wasn't very complicated at all so far. And it looks like we're making pretty good progress. So for step 7, we're gonna be installing the wheel deck, which is the bracket that goes on top. We're gonna need 2 of the longer bolts, 2 washers, and 2 nuts. And then for step 8, same thing. 2 of each. All right, so we got the plate, and it's literally gonna sit right here, and this is the front and that's the back. So I got my bolt ready. Go ahead and put it through. So we're doing both of the steps right now, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bolt through also. And then we got 2 nuts on the other side. So the cool thing about these nuts is they're self-grabbing, so you don't need to hold them. All you gotta do is spin the bolt here on the other side, and the nut will grab and hold itself. So before we tighten that, let's go to the other side. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these a little bit, but not too tight, because I have a feeling we're gonna have to go back and adjust this later. All right, so far we're looking really good. So in step 9, it shows us that we can adjust top platform where the steering wheel goes up and down. There's 2 bolts on the back side, which are right here if you guys can see them. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave them for now until we put our wheel on, and then we'll adjust it up and down. All right, so for step 10, we're gonna be building out the shifter mount, and we're gonna need these 2 pieces. If you guys can see how they go, it's pretty simple actually. Basically with the slots going this way, you can see where the bolting mounts are. So they're just gonna literally fit in, and this part is going up like that. So, and then we got 2 on each side of the smaller bolts with the washers. So all the bolts are on. For step 11 and 12, we're gonna be installing the shifter plate and the handbrake plate. I'm not gonna be using a handbrake, but I'm gonna go ahead and install it so you guys can see how that looks like and works. We're gonna need 2 longer bolts with washers and nuts, and then 2 shorter bolts with washers. So just like we built it, we're gonna grab this plate here, and this cutout part literally will sit right on top, just like this. And then our long bolts will go all the way through with the nut on the other side. So it is a little bit tight in there because of this threaded insert. You just kind of have to feed it in together with the nut and the bolt. But yeah, just like that. And you guys can see how it can move all the way through. All right, so that's in. And now the shifter plate. So it will also go here. It is adjustable. You can either sit flat like this or a little higher up. So yeah, the shorter bolts with washers, and that's gonna go here from on the inside. So just because you have this on doesn't mean you can't adjust it here on the slot. So yeah, if we do need to adjust it, we will, but this is what it looks like. All right, so now we need to install this onto the main frame. So here on the main part, we got 2 bolts that go through a frame that slides in and out. So now that we got all the bolts out, we can see that this thing should just slide up. And then depending on how much we needed to go up, we can adjust it up and down here on this axis here. And maybe you can see, guys, all of these threads. So they got threads going all the way through here, so you can adjust it up and down. And our shifter is gonna go on some of these threads here. Now, one thing I noticed is I actually built the shifter the wrong way, because the way it's built is for shifting with the left hand. So it goes on this side, which is, you know, not how we shift here where I live. So yeah, if you live in a country that drives on the left side of the road, this would be correct. And so in order to fix this, what I gotta do is I gotta take it all apart, flip this bracket around, and then flip these around to the other side so it all works, because if I just flip this, it's going to be upside down. So yeah, make sure you check that before you put it together. All right, guys, so I flipped it around. I also went ahead and got rid of the smaller plate for the drift brake, since we're not going to use that, and kind of centered this up. So yeah, so now it's going to go on the right side, and it's literally going to mount just like that underneath. So you are going to need 2 of the shorter bolts with washers. I'm just going to line it up all the way to the top and mount it right there. Now, if you weren't going to use a shifter at all, I guess you could technically skip this whole part. But you know, if you're going to be buying a frame like this, I hope you're using a shifter. I mean, technically these days a lot of cars don't even have manuals, but it is very fun to play manual. And part of the reason why we have sim racing is because we can enjoy that kind of fun at home. All right, so that's pretty tight right there. Now I haven't put my bolts back in here because I haven't really adjusted this part here up and down. I'm just gonna guess about right there, and we'll have to go back and readjust it once we put all of our gear on there. So I'm just gonna start these bolts up just so it holds it from falling down. All right, so for next step 16, we're gonna be installing the cradle for the chair. Well, actually, sorry, 15, yeah. So we gotta put these little brackets on first, and then we're gonna install it to the frame. So we're gonna need 4 short bolts with washers, and then these 2 brackets, and obviously the cradle here. So our brackets are gonna go like this, and this is our adjustments here. So I'm just gonna use the middle hole right now. And then here on the side, here, so I guess you could go higher or lower. So technically adjustable there too. I think I'm gonna go here. And it seems like that's what the manual is showing. Same thing on this side. So yeah, guys, looks like we pretty much built this thing. I think we skipped a step now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, we did. I did skip step 14, which is putting on these feet underneath the stand itself. And that's these guys here. So there's like a metal washer with a nut on it and a rubber pad underneath. Keeps it from sliding around. So this is a pretty easy install. It just screws right underneath and just like that. And you can adjust them by unscrewing this nut to go, you know, higher or lower. So yeah, guys, that's basically the extent of the build. So we could try this chair really quick to see how it looks. And so all we need to do is just put 2 of these legs in the cradle here. All right, something like that looks like. The chair does need to go back a little more, but we're gonna get Marcus here to help us in a little bit to adjust everything. I'm gonna go ahead and install the steering wheel and the pedals, which are the Logitech G920 for Xbox is what we have. So if you're planning on using Logitech, this should fit perfect in here. But you guys can see all these holes here actually match different kinds of wheels and also shifters. And on the pedals, you guys can see lots of slots there. But what's cool is Next Level Racing does include the hardware to mount all of the driving gear, and so you don't have to run around trying to find that to mount it permanently to the frame. So the steering wheel mounts right here, and it literally just goes right over like that. On this wheel, you guys can see 2 mounting points right here, and then we can also clamp it here with the factory clamps. And for the shifter here, we got the same situation, but yeah, we have 2 mounts also. They should line up. All right, so the bolts are in, and on the shifter we also have little clamps that we can clamp for extra support. And just like that, guys, the shifter is on. All right, now we have the pedal set. So on our pedals here, we can see we got 6 mounts, 3 in the front and then 3 in the back. And they're gonna line up with these slots. And depending, you know, where it needs to be, we can align that. So you can't just try to mount it like this and get the bolts underneath. Or if you wanted to, you can take those little wing nuts off and the whole thing will just pop off. All right, so we got Marcus here. And yeah, let's go ahead and adjust this thing. So let's see how he fits right off the bat. So yeah, it looks like the wheel needs to go down a bit. So we're gonna remove these bolts. So all the bolts are out. Now we can go down. How about right there? Is that good? Yes. So now we'll just put the bolts back in. What about the pedals? A little closer maybe, or that's good? That's good. All right, so that looks good right there. Now we can adjust this tilting motion here, which will bring the wheel down a bit. You guys can see it's kind of going up right now. So we need to take these bolts out on both sides. All right, so now we can move it. Go ahead and pull it down, Marcus. Is that good? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that looks like a pretty good tilt. Actually, Marcus, you're right in the middle, so either up a little or down a little. Actually, probably up a little would be better. Okay, right there. Yeah. And now we're just gonna clamp it in there and also tighten this bolt to lock it all in. So far, we're looking good, so let's go ahead and maybe adjust the shifter. What do you think, Marcus? A little bit closer to you? It does look kind of far from the wheel. So yeah, guys, if you remember, we got these 2 bolts here. If we loosen them, it'll slide on the slots here. So let's see how much we need to go. Marcus, what do you think? About right there? Yeah. All right, we'll lock it in right there. And also, guys, we went ahead and moved this chair cradle all the way to the back as far as I can get it, because the chair that we got really sits close to it. But yeah, everything seems to be working and everything's clearing and we got all the adjustment we need. So we got everything hooked up and set up. The Xbox Series X over there. We did some wire management. I just used some electrical tape to tape the wires to the frame. So let's go ahead and turn everything on. So the TV we got is a Vizio V-Series. It's actually pretty nice. It is 4K, 60 Hertz, so it should be pretty smooth for the game that we're gonna play, which is Forza Horizon 4.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want.
All right, so yeah, Marcus is really enjoying this simulator stand, and it seems like it's fitting him pretty well. So Marcus is about 5 foot almost, something like that, a little less, a little more maybe. So you guys can see how well he fits here. And obviously this thing is adjustable to, you know, pretty much any size. And, you know, depending on the chair and what adjustments you make, you can obviously make it work for anyone. But yeah, the frame is super nice and very solid. Like when he drives, this thing does not move at all. I mean, it's literally rock solid, guys. Now, the only thing that I found that maybe is not so great is this bracket here, the way it mounts. And the reason for that, there's only a couple bolts and it does have a little bit of play. It's not bad by any means, but it does have it. But yeah, guys, other than that, this thing is great. And you guys can see, you can really set it up almost anywhere. And then if you wanted to, you could fold it away. But I feel like it's small enough that you could pretty much, you know, fit it anywhere. Because when you remove the chair itself, it's not very big. And you can just fold this bracket over and put the whole thing in a corner somewhere. So yeah, guys, I feel like for what you get, it's a great deal. And probably one of the best things is that you can upgrade this later to include the GT seat. All right, guys, if you want to get the wheel stand 2.0 for yourself, I'll have some links in the description. Check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. And also, guys, check out our other videos. We got quite a few next level racing stands that we reviewed already, plus the Logitech wheel, the shifter, Xbox Series X, S, and also a PlayStation 5. And if you enjoy videos like this, stay tuned for more. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.